My people, my people, my people, people, my people, my people, my people, my people, my 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 people, my people, my. What's going on, y'all? How y'all feeling? Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is the Daily Go Getimism show all up in your area. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feel like real men and women should. Also, tonight on the Daily Go Getimism show, we are talking about enemy reform. Is there such a thing? Enemy reform. Is there a such thing? Is there such a thing as enemy reform? You know, people on social media, people all over the world are very disgruntled about what a friend is, what a friend should do, how a friend should conduct themselves. Is such and so such a real friend versus a fake friend, a this friend, a that friend? And they say that friends can become enemies. You know, people say you now. Come on now, on social media all the time, you hear people talking about some. If your friends all of a sudden start hating on you, talking about you, backbiting you, this, that, and third, and you, then they were never really your friends. Then they were never really your friends. And we be co-signing it. That's right. They was never really your friends. They never really cared about you. They was always hating on you. It ain't nothing new. This didn't just come out of the blue. They was never down with you. They was always envious of you. They was always jealous of you. They never had your back. They was never on your side. They never really was riding for you. We say that. And I always wonder when people are so quick to get on that type time and on that bandwagon, do they really believe that they friends were never really their friends just because they've had a falling out, just because they've had some turbulence, just because they've had some trouble, just because things aren't going as well as they used to go with the friends? What about your friends? Will they let you down? Will they be around to the end? Oh, well, we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to get into it and get involved. These puzzle pieces right now we're going to solve. So instead of asking were our friends, were the friends who became our enemies ever really our friends, tonight we're going to ask the question of were our enemies who are now our friends ever really our enemies? Why not? If you can ask one question in one way, why shouldn't you be able to ask the other question in the other way? So tonight we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get with that. So, what do y'all think? Is it possible for somebody who has been an enemy to you, somebody that you know did not have your back, somebody that you know did not have your best interest at heart, somebody you know was hating on you, somebody you know that whenever you saw them, it was damn near on sight. It's when I see you, it's on. No, it ain't gonna be a whole lot of talking and all that. When my crew see your crew, then my crew get ready to roll on, ride on your crew. For me, that's what an enemy is. It doesn't take it takes more than just a few disagreements, arguments, not seeing things eye to eye for somebody to be an enemy to me. But I'm not like other people. So I'm asking y'all tonight, what are your qualifications for somebody to be your enemy? Is an enemy just somebody that you're not talking to, somebody that you're not on speaking terms with? Because that's not an enemy to me. More than likely, me and my enemies are on speaking terms. What we're not on is good words when we speak terms. Mm-hmm. More than likely, if you and I aren't on speaking terms, it's not because we're enemies. It's because we don't see eye to eye. It's because we don't have a whole lot of appreciation for each other. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we're not enemies. So I need to know from y'all, when you consider somebody to be your enemy, we're not talking about your friends tonight. We're talking about your enemies. Is it possible for somebody to become your friend after being your enemy first? After y'all have not liked each other, not spoken good about each other, not been on good terms with each other, maybe have even physically fought each other, accosted each other, talked bad about each other to y'all friends, y'all real friends. Is it possible for that situation to be turned around? Maybe an incident happened. You know how it is, man. In the blink of an eye, an enemy can do something to you, he or she might speak up for you in a situation. And you might be like, well, wait a minute. That person don't fuck with me. That person don't like me. That person don't dig me. Why did they speak up for me? Why did they take up for me? Let's say you were in a fight, or you were in a situation where you were getting jumped by somebody, and here comes your enemy, who you would have thought would have set you up, but that your enemy came through and said, oh, hell no. I'm riding for mine. That's my enemy. That's my enemy. That's my enemy you messing with right there. Don't nobody put their hands on my enemy except for me. I'm and all of a sudden, you and your enemy wasn't enemies no more. They came through. They came through when none of your friends were around to help. Your enemy came through and looked out for you. So now y'all ain't enemies no more. And maybe it wasn't you. Maybe your enemy didn't look out for you, but maybe your enemy looked out for somebody close to you. I have seen this happen. Your child was in trouble. Your son or your daughter, they were in trouble. Your niece, or your young niece or nephew was in some kind of trouble, and your enemy helped out. They saw a pedophile coming through trying to abduct your child or lure your child into a situation, and your enemy knew who your children were, or somebody close to you was, and they said, oh, hell no. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. Yeah, I don't like that person, but we ain't doing that. I'm not going to let that happen. Which makes me question, well, are you really my enemy? If my enemy looks out for somebody that's close to me, if my enemy saves the life or the safety of someone who's close to me, guess what? My enemy ain't my enemy. My enemy he ain't acting enemy-ish. He or she ain't acting enemy-ish. So what are we doing? What do we have? So I want to know if y'all have ever experienced anything like this. Have you ever experienced anything like what I'm talking about? Is it a real thing? Am I tripping? Is this some type of pipe dream? I mean, is it really like, oh, my enemies are real enemies? Don't be trying to make no friends out of your enemies. If you my enemy, then you stay right in the lane of you being my enemy. And honestly, for somebody like me, that's the way it goes. But like I said before, it's not easy for somebody to become my enemy just because I don't mess with you like that, rock with you like that, bang with you like that, fuck with you like that. It does not mean that you're not my enemy. It can mean that we just are not on the same page, can't get on the same page, and are not eligible to be good with each other, cool with each other, all right with each other, friends with each other. It doesn't mean that I don't appreciate anything that you do. It doesn't mean that I don't like anything that you are a part of. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't speak in favor of you in certain situations. But maybe socially, we just can't get it popping. That might not be that much different from somebody in your family. One of your family members might be that way. Maybe you and your cousin, whether it's your first cousin, distant cousin, whatever, for some reason, y'all just can't seem to get along that well. You like chocolate, they like vanilla. And everything that y'all were a part of was something like that. They played basketball, you played football. You didn't like basketball, they didn't like football. They didn't come to your games, you ain't go to theirs. You know what I'm saying? Maybe at Christmas time, over your grandmother's house, you felt like they got better presents than their grandmom gave whatever. It could have been in reverse, I mean, maybe you got the better presents they felt like than they were getting from grandma. Like, yeah, auntie such and such kids always get all the favor over here because they live over here. You know how that go. The kids that live at Granny house, man, they be getting the business from the rest of the family. Just because they live under Granny. They live with Granny. They live with Granny. They live under. Yeah, and they get everything because they all around Granny all the time. Getting they shine. We come over Granny house and she show love, but damn, it's never over and above the one that live right there in the crib. You would think that they was their own kids. Damn grandma, damn grandma, damn grandma, damn grandma, damn grandma. All right, let's get it popping. Let's get it popping, y'all. What up, Carol Chamberlain? What's up, T. Carey Wright? What's up, Stacy White? Stacy says, competing against me, messing with my money and messing with my family. Okay. You say still can't be trusted. Makes sense to me. T. Carey Wright says, you can never truly trust a former enemy. Makes sense to me. Or Carol Chamberlain says, or the baby of the family. Oh, yeah, that youngest, the last grand. You know how the last grandbaby get all the love. Like somebody better start making another baby. We gotta push this young one, this youngest one out of the spot because they are running amok. They doing too much. The baby doing too much. This ain't got nothing to do with terrible twos and none of that. The baby doing too much. Somebody go get pregnant right now. I don't give a shit if y'all just turned 50. I don't care if y'all premenopausal. Somebody gotta have a baby. Or one of y'all babies gotta have a baby. We need a great grandchild going on here. Yeah, I know your child ain't but 13, but tell them to start working. They ain't got a lot of time, Grandma 93. Hurry up. I wouldn't normally condone this. I wouldn't normally condone this. But we need a new baby that's walking by 2025. Start working. We need somebody pregnant by December. Don't let 2024 come when ain't no bun in the oven. We need a baby shower by Valentine's Day. Work. Carol Chamberlain says, that would be me. The last grandchild. Mm-hmm. Too much favor for the flavor. Stacey White says, there's nothing wrong with the last grand. I ain't saying nothing was wrong with it, but people gonna hate on it. But anyway, but we're not getting all that. You know what I mean? We're not getting into all that. What we talking about tonight is enemy reform. Is it possible for somebody that you were enemies with, mortal enemies, arch enemies, real true enemies, is it possible for them to become your friend? I know that for some people this is possible because their enemies wasn't enemy enough in the first place. How was y'all enemies because y'all didn't agree? One of y'all thought that Tupac was the best, and one of y'all thought that Biggie was the best. One of y'all thought that Nas was the best, and the other one thought that Jay-Z was the best. One of y'all thought that Rakim was the best, and the other one thought that Big Daddy. And that ain't no damn enemy. Y'all wasn't real. My brother Ansel Jones is in the house. What's going on, my brother Ansel Jones? How you feeling, my brother? My mellow, my man. I want to get on the mic. I want you to take a stand, my brother. My mellow, my man. Why don't you get on the mic? I want you to take a stand, baby. All right. So, yeah. I know for some people this has happened. But I think it happened that they enemies became their friends because the reason that they were enemies in the first place was a weak reason. It was a weak example. You know, maybe it'll help if I tell y'all some of the things that will make you be my enemy. Like, for example, if I see that you do things that would take away the love that other people have for me, and it wasn't over no good reason. Now I can see if I'm being deceptive, if I'm out here lying, I'm out here acting like I'm somebody that I'm not, I'm out here taking people's money, I can see why somebody would come along and expose me and do me dirty and have other people looking at me sideways. But if that's not the case, if I'm not taking nothing from nobody, and I'm, I'm just living my life doing me, and people just happen to like me for that reason, but you hating on me, trying to poison my water, trying to snake me out, trying to make other people think that I'm some kind of bad person, some kind of monstrous person, some type of person that has deep dark secrets that would hurt other people. Yeah, you're gonna be my enemy. You know what I mean? That's a whole that's something that should qualify somebody as being an enemy. But I don't see how somebody like that could ever be my friend. Somebody that tries to take away your livelihood. Think about like when you at work. You at work and you got a coworker, an enemy type of coworker, always trying to get you written up, always trying to get you, potentially on your last warning and trying to get you fired, or just straight up trying to get you fired. You're like, yo, you messing up my money. I ain't come here for friends. I didn't come here for a club. I came here to get money. This is how I feed my family. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I financially live my life. So how could somebody who would play those kind of games with you be your friend? What would they have to do to prove themselves worthy of being a friend to you later on? Because I'm wondering how that conversation will go. Yeah, man, I remember I used to try to get you written up. I used to spread lies about you. You know what I mean? I used to go to the supervisor. I used to go to the managers and tell them you was doing shit that you wasn't doing. I remember that shit. It's all water under the bridge now. We cool. But yeah, back in the day, I was trying to get you on up out of here. I was trying to get you up out of here, God. You know what I mean? I was going to have you leaving this building. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So I'm imagining a situation like that. Like, nah, you can never be my friend, dog. You can never be my friend. Carol says, that's jealousy. They make the worst enemies. But what I'm saying is my qualifications to be my enemy would be somebody who did that. Somebody, like I said, would mess up your livelihood, try to get you fired, mess up your opportunities to have something better for yourself. You know what I'm saying? More than just playing jokes on you or making things hard for you or challenging you. I'm talking about a situation where they openly tried to do you in, where they actually and openly tried to put you in the elimination round. I don't understand how somebody like that could ever be friends with you. But some people have what you would describe as a forgiving nature. That's a popular concept on the internet too. You know what I mean? You gotta forgive your enemies. You forgive your enemies. You forgive your enemies and then you free yourself. You forgive your enemies and free yourself. You forgive your enemies and free yourself. You can't be free. If you got an enemy, you gotta let it go. You can't hold on to it. You gotta let it feelings flow, just like fluid, and let them go. And you can know that just because y'all ain't friends, though, You have forgiven them, and God has given you favor. Now you got the flavor. The neighbors that you have that used to try to call the cops on you on the Ave. Now y'all good. Now y'all cool. How could y'all be cool when they tried to play you like a fool? More than play you like a fool, they try to change the rules and have you on up out of here. You know what I'm talking about, my dude. Yo, it's bad. It's a bad situation. You can't get past that. The frustration that you used to be feeling on a regular basis. You had to pull out your jaw and mosquito, lock him in the face. Carol says, I say that all the time. I always say I come to work to make money. If a friendship forms, that's a bonus. Word. And she says, don't mess with my livelihood. That's a dangerous thing to do. And Carol says, I set my enemies free. Me too. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about us. You know, I make no bones about it. I hold grudges and they stay where they at. But I don't, you know, unless y'all see something that I do, it don't be holding me back. You know what I mean? I'll be like, yo, man, all of this holding grudges and, you know what I'm saying, not forgiving nobody, it be just pulling me down. No, it don't. I don't be thinking about my enemies 24/7, plotting against them or plotting to get them back and all that kind of stuff. It's not about all that. But anyway, for those people who have that forgiving nature, those people who say, well, you know, you gotta love thy neighbor. Does that mean you have to love thy neighbor if thy neighbor is an enemy? Is that what the vice? Excuse me. Is that what the Bible scripture is actually trying to say? Are they trying to say that you should forgive your enemies, set them free? I've told y'all on this show years ago, I used to pray for my enemies. They used to be right there in my prayers. I used to say, along with the other prayers that I said, you know what I mean? I used to say, you know, please, you know, bless all of my friends and my enemies. And I used to say shit like that, and I stopped. And I used to always say, God, please help me never to mistake my real friends for my enemies. And please help me never to mistake my real enemies for my friends. Now I don't even say all of that. Like, it's going to go the way it's going to go. I'll recognize when the time comes. Life is hard in me, y'all. It has. It is hard in me. But not to the point where it has made me a bitter person or a non-optimistic person. It's made me more of a realist, but it hasn't made me angry. It hasn't put me on a path of destructive thinking and feelings. But I just decided to take my enemies out of my prayers because they don't belong there. When I really came to terms with myself about what makes somebody a friend to me and what makes somebody an enemy to me, like they don't deserve my prayers. They have their own friends. Let their friends pray for them. You pray for that motherfucker, not me. It's in God's hands now. It's in God's hands. And you can't go interfering with the Lord. You can't go interfering with the Lord. The battle is not yours. The battle is not yours. The battle is not yours. It's the Lord's. So y'all pray for that motherfucker. Anyway. You know, enemy reform. What would an enemy have to do in order to ingratiate themselves to you to the point where okay, like as far as I'm concerned, an enemy can't be trusted. So what could an enemy do with you or to you to make you trust an enemy? Is there something that could be done? Is there something that an enemy could do with you or to you to make you feel like, all right, all right, he good now. We good now. Is there something an enemy could do to turn it around? Turn your love around. Let me show you how. What do you think? What do you think? Like I said, for me, no. That would be a big fat no. At least I think. Like, an enemy for me is somebody that I can't trust, that I don't trust, that I wouldn't trust, that I haven't trust, that I haven't been able to trust. They have proven themselves to be untrustworthy, unfriendly, and not worthy of interaction between the two of us. So what would make me be able to trust them? Because one of my qualifications for being a friend is that I think I can trust you. I might not be able to trust you in all situations, but I can trust you not to hurt me. I can trust you not to put angel dust in the blunt instead of just regular weed, trying to be funny. That ain't funny. It's not funny at all. I mean, friends don't slip friends Mickeys. They don't do that shit. Not from what I know. No. Friends do not. Friends don't do shit like that. Like, you think your friend rolled a blunt for you. You think you smoking regular weed, and he put wet up in the weed. He put the sherm up in. He put the dust up in. No, not cool. Not cool. Not cool. But I would expect my enemy to put dust up in the blunt. What am I doing smoking with my enemy in the first fucking place? I need to stop getting high if I don't have nobody else to get high with but my enemies. But it could be a situation where your friends are cool with your enemies, which is a whole nother argument, which is a whole nother situation. Hold on, y'all. This motherfucker is fucking with me. Yes, Carol. It could be, it's a whole different situation where your friends are cool with somebody you're enemies with, because I guess there are degrees and levels of friends. But listen, if I tell you or let you know that I'm enemies with somebody, I'm letting you know that there's a big reason, a good reason, a great reason that I'm enemies with that person. So if you still rock with them, then me and you aren't really friends. We might be associates, but you are not my friend. Because my friend can't be cool with my enemy. No way. There's no way you could be a friend to me, but a friend to my enemy as well. Now, I understand that there are degrees and levels to enemies. I get it. Totally get it. Totally get it. But what I'm not going to excuse is if I consider you to be a friend, more than likely, I consider you to be a good friend. And that means that I feel like I can talk freely in front of you and I'm not going to hear the shit back. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say I'm your friend at work and I have some revealing things to say about my superiors, maybe about the way that they run the department, maybe about the way the business goes. I don't expect to hear that anywhere else but except between me and you. Now, if I coincidentally hear word for word what I said coming from somebody else's mouth as if I said it to them, maybe they weren't saying that I said it, but verbatim, the way it's coming out, I know that you told them, then I know that you're not my friend. You're not my work friend. You're not my anything friend. Because I know I can't share information with you. And I feel like I can share information with my friends. It doesn't mean that I'm going to share all my information. I'm not a dummy. But if I realize that I can't share even lightly sensitive information, then you're not my friend. So it would make sense that you would be cool with my enemy. But here's the other thing. I shouldn't be smoking or drinking or carousing and collaborating and fraternizing with you. I ain't got no business smoking with you. I don't smoke. I ain't got no business drinking with you. I don't drink. But I ain't got no business eating with you. And I do eat. So no cookouts for me and you. Not for you and I. Nah, we good. I'm good. We good. You know what I mean? So you invited a few co-workers to your event, your cookout or whatever, your graduation, whatever. And I know that since you cool with my enemies, when I'm going to have to see them when I'm out having, going to a light social affair on my free time. Like I can understand if I gotta deal with my work enemy at work, but if I gotta deal with my work enemy in a private social function, oh hell no. Like I understand if my enemy showed up at the Beyonce concert. Well, shoot, what 50,000 other people showed up too. No big deal. But at a cookout, you know what I mean? You have to cook out. You know what I mean? I'm going to go get my plate and fix a plate. Oh man, this nigga up there, he getting the plate first. Oh man, I don't even know if I should eat the food now. Poison food. I can't trust that chicken. I ain't eating that chicken. I ain't that. No, I'm good. I know he done spit in that potato salad. I'm good. Nigga seen me. He seen me with the plate in my hand. I put the plate right down. I'm gonna go get me some KFC after this. Yeah, that's right, KFC. Fuck it. I might as well go ahead and go for the gusto. Eat the real terrible shit. I'm gonna get some KFC after this. Okay. The Lord must mean for me to take chances today. I ain't doing it. Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Daily Go Getimism Show, and we are talking about enemy reform. Can it be done? Is it such a thing? Enemy reform. Your enemies becoming your friends. You used to ride on your enemies, and now your enemies more like a friend of me. TK Wright says the only thing they could do is save my child's life. And that still might not make you their friend. But you definitely ain't the kind of enemy to them like you used to be. Because if you my enemy, you save my child's life, now I gotta make sure my child is all right. Like, did he really save your life and help kill you at the same time? Make sure he ain't pop you with a COVID needle or something. How you feeling? You all right? Feeling fatigued? What's that little cough you got? Look, I don't trust my enemies. Yeah, Carol Chamberlain says those are words that people get confused a lot. Yes, they are. Stacy says, I've never been in that situation before. Carol says, friends and associates are totally different. Yes, they are. If you're an associate, I know you. I might acknowledge you. I might like you. But for you to be a friend, that means you know something about me that a lot of people don't know. You know some of my skills and abilities. You know some of my thoughts and my feelings. You might have seen some of the pictures in my phone. Before phones had pictures in them, before they had cameras and shit, I might have broke out the wallet. Remember the wallet size pictures? Come on, y'all. Some of y'all still got wallet size pictures. You know you got wallet size pictures. You know what I'm saying? You still got the wild size picture, somebody prom picture, nut John, somebody pictures from Sears. You got them old Sears photos, yeah, I said. You was up there in the Sears photo studio. Whoa, whoa. Yeah. Yeah. If you was my friend, you know, I mean, you might know my middle name. You know, when you're younger, everybody don't get to know your middle name, especially if you don't like it. Everybody don't get to know that, but your friends do. So you got to know who's your friend and who's your enemy. You got to really know the difference, and some people don't seem to understand what the differences are. They don't respect the boundaries, and nothing is worse than somebody not really respecting the boundaries that you have set. Like I'm sure that you've dealt with that. Somebody really doesn't understand the boundaries or doesn't really respect the boundaries that you set. So that's how somebody who calls themselves a friend to you thinks that can think that it's okay for them to be cool with your enemy, because they don't respect the boundaries between you and your enemy. They don't think that y'all should be enemies, so they just conduct themselves as such. They might even try to become a matchmaker or become like a go in between you and somebody that you consider yourself to be an enemy to. And you like, yo, man, stop doing that shit. Like, for real. Like, don't call me over your house when such and such is over there. I told you it's on site when I see. And now you realize that that friend ain't really your friend. They might not be your enemy, but they more like an associate because they don't get it. I'm gonna give you all an example that my Philly Eagles fans can understand. Remember in 2013 when Chip Kelly became the coach of the Eagles. Chip Kelly became the coach of the Eagles, and he didn't respect the rivalry between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. He didn't respect it, and he didn't. Not only did he not respect that rivalry, but he showed his blatant disrespect and disregard for the rivalry by trading for Cowboys players and by not playing up the promotion of the Eagles versus the Cowboys games. He didn't seem to understand that in Philly, the Cowboys are the fucking mortal enemy. Whenever we play the Cowboys, that's not the Super Bowl, but that's the game on your calendar that you mark off. Those two games. Like, yeah, the Redskins, whatever. The Giants, all right, whatever. But those Cowboy games, I don't care if we lose all 14 other games on that schedule. Those are the two games that we play like we play in the Super Bowl. We don't play that. He didn't get it. So we lost against the Cowboys. And on top of that, after the season was over, he traded for their running back. He got rid of Shady McCoy. Shady, to this day, the leading rusher, the all-time leading rusher of the Philadelphia Eagles, who was still in his prime, and he traded Shady McCoy. Traded him. Fan favorite. He traded him. And he traded him for the Cowboy. What was his name? It always escapes me. but he was the leading rusher on the Cowboys the year before. And I think he may have led the NFC and rushing and whatever. He came to us and he was a total bust. And Chip Kelly just didn't respect that rivalry. And that's one of the main reasons he's not here today. He was a terrible coach because he coached like he was still coaching people who weren't getting paid. You can't treat people who are getting paid millions of dollars like people who are playing for a scholarship and a chance to go into the NFL. Can't do it. So his true colors started to show, and we had to get him up out of here. Even the owners understood, like, nah, this dude is bad for business. So they got rid of him before the season was over. Like, nah, you can pack up your shit and get on up out of here now. Get your shit and go. We don't need you. Who was the next coach? The greatest coach we ever had. The greatest of all time. And no, it wasn't Big Red. He was the winningest coach. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about my man. Doug Peterson, who got us to the Super Bowl and won us our first Super Bowl in his second year. But he understood. He got it. We gotta beat Dallas. He played for us before, so he knew. He understood. He respected it. Like, yo, yeah, we gotta beat Dallas. We gotta beat the Cowboys. No exceptions. It's not acceptable for us to lose against the Cowboys. I don't give a shit if we only lost by 1 point. I don't give a shit if we lost by technicality. I don't give a shit if we lost by a bad call. I don't care. If we lost sudden death overtime, we gotta beat them. We have to go away with the win. But he understood the rivalry. He understood the difference between friendships, associates, and enemies. Chip Kelly tried to blow it off like, that's silly rivalry. It's just another team on the schedule. Don't worry about that. It's just another game. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not just another game, sir. And if you keep trying to treat it like it's just another game, sir, you're going to have a big problem in the city, sir. And he did. Had a direct effect on his livelihood. Get him up out of here. He was gone. All right. Let me see. Now says, in the words of War, why can't we be friends? 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 You play for a team down in Texas. Okay, anyway. All right. Ansel Jones says, people will hold pain until they feel comfortable to show it. Interesting. GK Wright says, ugh, I remember. Both of y'all remember. Oh, Ansel Jones says, Ravens versus Steelers is a holiday for both of us. So that's y'all main rivalry? The Steelers? And it's interesting that y'all main rivalry will be against the Steelers because it used to be the Baltimore Colts back in the day. Baltimore Colts moved to Indianapolis, and the Cleveland Browns moved to Baltimore. So yeah, Art Modell. I don't know. Do you know anything about that, Ansel? Did Art Modell respect the rivalry between Cleveland and Steelers? because that's still a strong rivalry. That's still a big deal. But the Steelers are big rivals against the Bengals and the Browns. I didn't really realize that it was that deep between the Ravens and the Steelers. But that makes sense. NFC East. It makes a lot of sense. Okay. Carol James says, of course, he was a cowboy. Mm-mm. So yeah, your enemy reform. Can my enemies become my friends one day? Like, would I find myself at the funeral of my enemy if he passed? Like, yo, he was all right. You know what I mean? We used to fight like cats and dogs, but deep down the side, I respected him. He respected me. Nah, the fuck out of here. I'm going to his grave site and piss on that shit. Maybe not that extreme, but maybe. You're gonna be calling me baby, maybe. I said, you'll be calling me baby, maybe. Carol says, nope, because I wouldn't attend an enemy's funeral. That's what I'm saying, Carol. Like, yo, they got it twisted. But if they say that a friend can become an enemy because they was really only hating on you at the time, then why can't an enemy become a friend? I remember I got into an argument with a fellow comedian years and years ago. And this nigga said the most outlandish shit. He says some shit like, yeah, you should never use the word hate against somebody, because if you hate somebody, then more than likely before you used to love them. Or deep down inside, you love them. I said, yeah. I said, so if you love somebody, shouldn't that work in reverse? If you love somebody, don't you hate them deep down inside? He said, no, it don't work that way. I said, then I don't know if it works the other way either, motherfucker. I do the math. And with math, what you do on this side, you got to do on the other side. So go ahead with that dumbass statement. Now I hate you. Ironically, he was a hater. Ironically, he was a hater. So yeah. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. If there's an opportunity, or if there's a chance for something like an enemy to become a friend in some capacity, I don't know nothing about it. I don't know nothing about that life. And I'm certainly not living it. I don't know nothing about that life, and I'm certainly not living it. Carol says, the thin line between love and hate. So they say mine are broad lines. Man, I'm with you. We not doing that. We ain't doing that. But I tell you what we are doing. We're about to do these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious August 8th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. We get the R-E-S-P-E-C-C. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. We get the R-E-S-P-E-C-C. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. We get the R-E-S-P-E-C-C. They get number one out the box, Leah Morton Williams. Happy birthday to you. And also Darlene Rozier, turning 43 years old today. And Watanya Fitchett, turning 58 years old today. And Tressie Turner, turning 51 years old today. And Wawa Black, turning 49 years old today. And Robin Sanders, turning 62 years old today. And Scooty Sims, turning 32 years old today. And Simone Thompson, turning 39 years old today. And Hawa Shane, all the way from Uganda. Happy birthday to you. And Veronica Waters Carmichael, happy birthday to you. And last but not least, I said last but not least, I said last. My girl, original go-getter, Sun Always Shine show, Comet, Kim Morris. Happy birthday to you, Kim. Hope that the day finds you all the good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, spirit. I said I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious August 8th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, listen, man. I don't know if a friend can become an enemy, but I know that it's easier for a friend to become an enemy than the enemy to become a friend to me. I can't take no time off for my enemy time to make sure that he's a friend of mine. I can't trust him, so it makes me want to bust him up beside his head and make sure that he gets fed a dose of his own medicine. And I think that it's a sin to think that an enemy is a friend and not going for it again. So you can forget that shit and say it again. I say it again, and over and over. I'm not dealing with no enemies. And while I'm sober, or whether I'm drunk, or whether I am high, but I can't be no fly with my enemies. You must be sounding like you're crazy. You must be really smoking all the haze with the dust up in the blunt. Yo, what you want? I can't do the shit. It's hard for me to front like I really like somebody, but I don't like them. So I'm not going to do that shit tonight. And I'm not going to do it because it don't feel right. Y'all can do that shit if you will and if you might. I holla. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow with another Daily Go-Getterism show. So make sure y'all come through, because I appreciate me some you. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. All righty. So I said a blog talk, we gonna get you out of here. Yeah. And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side. My boobas 1, 2. On the other side, my boobas. Thank you for coming through, my boobas. Peace.